Oh my God.
Hey, oh, I wish I could
Whoa.
move like that for real.
It makes me feel I got to mute the other. By the way, you may want to, Chuck,
Yeah.
you may want to open up a YouTube stream on the side so that you can see all the comments because sometimes that's how I read the comments.
Yeah.
I open up my YouTube channel and then I mute it so that
Oh,
so that I can
if I
actually
can
see
figure out how to do that while we're on the air right now,
Don't worry about
I
it.
may do it later. That's a good idea. But I can at least see the comments here. A lot of people are saying hello to us right now. Hi, everybody.
Hi, good to see
Yeah.
everyone. Welcome to
Yeah.
Taco Tuesdays. Oh my gosh, what a rough week. We got so
Oh,
much to talk about.
yeah. We were talking about that in the pre-show. There is just so much to cover today. Where do we even begin? Where do we begin, Whimsy?
Well, let's start with you. How was your week?
It was a good week. Been making my calls for you and reaching out to all the great people out there. Just people saying they love our show, saying hello to both of us. I had one person say, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity right now," which was very sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm just working on my artwork and everything. What have you been doing this week?
I sleeping a lot. I don't know
That's
what's
good.
going on. I've got weird feedback going on. I might have to change to my home computer just because I'm
Yeah,
getting a weird feedback.
really. I can't hear it from here. I wonder if the people out there can hear it.
Well,
But in the meantime, let's see. People agreeing with us. What a week. Hi, gang. Hi, Chuck and Whimsy. Someone said that taco looks like it's photoshopped. I don't know about that. Another
which
person's,
taco?
I don't know which taco. They just said that taco. Someone said the picture of you and me, I look like Jerry Garcia. Really? Oh, well. Pink hands waving here. Already getting questions. Chuck, is that Lucy in the picture behind you? No, that's not Lucy. We'll get to that in just a bit, but this time it's not Lucy. Somebody asking about George Santos. Is he's going to be expelled from Congress by December?
Yes, we have
Yes.
all of that to talk about. I don't know. I felt like it was so much stress with what's going on with the war. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Can people tell me if I'm having feedback? Do I need to go on the other computer?
Yeah.
If not, you can't hear the feedback, can you?
I can't hear it at all. You sound great to me, but I guess our audience out there is going to be the best judge. So I'm sure they'll let us know if you're getting feedback. Um, I just got my new broadband. I am now broadcasting in 1080p.
I know. I'm
That
so
I'm excited
impressed.
about.
You look so good and you sound great.
Thank you. Thank you. It made the difference. You were the one who suggested this. People have been very patient with us as we've been going through I've been going through my growing pains since I started doing this with you in July. So I'm always very appreciative. Let's see. Kay said, yes, she can hear some feedback.
All right, so forgive me while I leave everybody, and then I'm just going to come on the other computer, okay?
Okay. So are you leaving me here all by myself or are we going off
Oh,
or what's that?
you're a big boy. You can do it. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Let me leave you. Let me leave you.
Oh
Hold on.
my
How
God.
do I do this? Okay.
Okay, somebody said here we hear a clucky chicken. Well, I'm here by myself right now. I guess it's my show for at least the next minute or two. Do I tap dance? Do I sing for you? What do I do? Hey, Debbie, I see you say, yeah, Chuck, baby. Yeah, hi. We're just looking for your comments here, your questions, anything you'd like us to address today. Do a blitz on. Get out those cards. We've got a lot of stuff going on right now. News stories. Not a lot to find humor in right now, but what's this? Yeah, somebody else is hearing the feedback. No, somebody else said no feedback. I don't know if Whimsy's hearing this. Let's see, cha-cha. Let's see, I'm just looking through all the comments here, scrolling back a bit. Bear with me here. Doing this without my glasses too. But someone was asking me if this is Lucy behind me. I'm going to talk about it later, but it's actually Peg Entwistle. She was the actress who jumped off of the Hollywood sign in 1932. And on my own YouTube channel, I have a short little video about that where I actually went up a mountain on Sunday and got as close to the Hollywood sign as I was capable of getting so I could tell the story. And I thought I would tie it in with my artwork today. Let's see what else here. Go, Chuck, go. Thank you, Debbie. It's all up to you, Chuck. Yes. Hey,
Can you hear me now?
save me.
Maybe not. Woo!
What is that? Someone just said, grab a guitar. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to here. I wish I had tissue paper and
How's
comb
that?
harmonica. Hey, how is that?
I went on the wrong stream.
You went on the wrong screen. Okay, you're back.
Yeah. Well, we live and learn.
Leaving me here to have to ad lib.
Oh, come on. You're an actor. You love lots of things.
Oh, here's a question for me.
So new. How's the sound? Talk to me, everybody.
Good. Someone says here, I love your office, Chuck. Actually, it's my living room. I love the wall of photographs. I never have talked about these. I have a collection of old Hollywood memorabilia, a lot of vintage signed photos. It's something I've done for like 30 years. So on this wall right here, I actually have silent screen stars. I have Rudolph Valentino, Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Clara Bow. So anyway, that's what that is. Thank you for asking.
Well, Chuck, I think without further ado, since everybody has so much stuff they want to talk about, do you feel like we need to do the impasse? I'm still hearing that weird noise. You hear it again?
I don't hear it, but wait, let's see. Someone here said worse. Another person said that's way better, Whimsy.
It was worse, and then we turned off. I think I'm close to too many computers at once.
So hopefully it's okay now. But anyway, we're getting a nice tour of your home. Some nice visuals here. Hi.
Welcome to
here people are saying, okay. Somebody just said, yes, it's worse, Whimsy. Yes, the noise came back. Sound is bad. Yes, I hear it. The chicken is back. Ghost dogs still echoing. We're working on it, folks. This is one of the pitfalls of doing something live. Maybe you need a headset to listen to the stream. Someone was saying here, I sound like Hollywood Forever Cemetery. It's funny because Whimsy was out here visiting me here in LA about a month and a half ago. It might be 2 months now. It's gone by so fast. But Whimsy and I went to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. We visited Judy Garland's grave, Mickey Rooney, Rudolph Valentino. It's quite a place to go to if you're ever in Los Angeles. And you don't think of cemeteries as being fun, but it is. It's like a big celebration of life when you're there. Hey, Whimsy, are you back?
I am. I hear a dog barking.
Who let the dogs out?
I don't know. This is very strange.
Yeah. Hey,
it's on computers.
Do you think it could be like entities? We've been talking so much about them and, including some of the topics we're covering. And do you think it could be anything like that?
I don't know. Maybe they're doing repairs. They're doing a lot of repairs. So it could be supposed to be a repair because it's usually not me that has the problem. But today, clearly, I'm having the problem.
Usually it's me. Usually it's me causing all the trouble with the sound or the picture.
Oh, right. So there's a simple solution. The simple solution is that, Chuck, you're going to lead the show today.
I'm going to do what?
You're going to lead the show.
I'm going to lead the show. Now, why am I leading the show today?
Because I'm crackling. So I'm going to do the impasse prayer.
Okay.
Why don't you talk to these people while I see if I can get another audio. Let's talk to them through the impasse.
Here I go again. Okay. Well, some of you have been commenting about Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Like one of you mentioned that the headstones are like art, and I will agree with that. But whenever I go to a cemetery, I always see, I use the term celebration of life because I see every marker representing somebody who touched this world, touched many lives. Wait, what's this feedback? Check your connections. How are you doing there, Whimsy? Sounds like another stream is bleeding over. Do you think it could be that, Whimsy?
I don't know.
Anyway, people are very patient with us. But anyway, that was my impression of Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And I even love going to Forest Lawn here in Glendale. It's like visiting a beautiful park. And they have these little chapels. And there's a chapel where Jean Harlow's funeral was held in 1937. And behind that chapel is this exquisite little meditation garden, with a bench and a fountain and trees and flowers. And I sometimes have gone there and just sat with my journal or brought a book with me on that bench. The energy is very good. And so that's the way I feel about cemeteries. And wait, someone said, take your time, Whimsy. Is that where Marilyn Monroe is? No, Marilyn Monroe is at the Westwood Cemetery. And that's an interesting cemetery to itself. She is buried, or I should say interred, next to Hugh Hefner. He actually bought the space. I think it was above or below her. So he is there. And this is Sasha, my Siamese. She wants to be in the spotlight right now. But let's see, at the Westwood Cemetery, they have, I think, Natalie Wood is there, Farrah Fawcett, Merv Griffin, Jack Lemmon, Don Knotts. And I used to be acquainted with Don Knotts, so it's a little strange to go there and see his grave now. But yeah, I've been there from time to time whenever I'm in the area. Say hi, Sasha. This is my love. Okay, Whimsy, are you back?
Well, I turned the other computer off.
Okay.
And now this one is still doing something weird.
Okay. Someone just made the comment. It sounds like poltergeist. And interestingly enough, the little girl, Heather O'Rourke, who was in Poltergeist, who died very young. She's interred at the Westwood Cemetery.
Why don't you tell that story, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to see if I can get this computer to work.
Okay, let's see if we can get it to work here. Okay, let's see. Sandy Miller said, I live next to us. Oh, Sasha, sorry. My cat is getting a little too much into the show. She almost knocked the computer over here. Let's see. Sandy said, I live next to a cemetery in the Gold Country, Northern California. It was awesome. And my son saw ghosts. Really, that's intriguing. Sandy, tell us more about that if you have a chance. Yeah, John said to reboot. I think Whimsy is just trying everything she can right now. So this is my rambunctious Siamese cat. I'm going to see if she will behave herself. So I don't know. Let's see. Well, I might as well go ahead and talk about my artwork here. I mentioned earlier that Peg Entwistle was the Broadway actress who came to Hollywood in the early 30s and tried her luck in the movies. Not too successful. The woman finally decided she'd had enough, and she went up to the Hollywood sign. And unfortunately, there was a ladder that some worker had left behind, and it was leaning up against the letter H. And she had the inspired idea to climb up the letter H and dive off. And I understand she had a suicide note attached to her. She was found a couple of days later. They took her remains, cremated them, and they were sent back to her hometown in Ohio, and she was buried next to her father. But I was very moved when I saw this photograph of her. I could just, I'm very sensitive to energy, particularly in eyes, and I just saw such profound sadness. I don't know if any of you can see it, but that's how I felt. And I wanted to do her portrait very much, not even thinking about how it would tie in with today and the video I did on Sunday about her jumping off the Hollywood sign. And there was even there was a YouTube series called Hollywood, and they made that a focal point about Peg Entwistle, and they worked it into the storyline. So anyway, bless Peg. It's been more than 90 years now. I understand on occasion in the canyon near there at one of the local stores, she only made one movie, and she only had about 12 minutes in that film, but they would project that film onto the side of the wall of the store, and people would gather and do a little bit of a memorial service for her. So anyway, that's my artwork. Normally Whimsy and I talk about this, but since I'm alone right now, I figure I better come up with some things to say. Let's see. I'm looking at the comments here. Oh, thank you, Kay, for your compliment. Yes, thank you for saying her eyes are heart grabbing. That's just the way I felt. I always have empathy for my subjects, and that's usually what draws me, not to make a pun there, but draws me to draw them. And especially if I can see something in their eyes, in their soul, that's what I want to work upon. Let's see, I think somebody asked me how old Sasha is. She's 8 years old. 8 years old. I've had her since she was 10 weeks old. I got her from a wonderful lady in San Diego named Diane Kramer. It was just this connection with Sasha right from the beginning. And yes, Whimsy, you're back.
Yes. Who knows?
Who knows? This is a weird show today. I went ahead and showed my artwork. I figured let's go ahead and do that. And I was talking about Peg Entwistle, the lady who jumped on Hollywood.
You were going to talk about Peg and the Hollywood sign.
Yeah. But anyways, we had a comment here from Sandy Miller. Reportedly, locals have seen her spirit wandering around the cemetery, looking for her family. I'm assuming you're talking about Peg Entwistle there. But yes, thank you for mentioning about the Haunted Hollywood videos. That's, if I may throw this out, Whimsy, that's what I'm doing on my own channel now for the month of October. I'm doing Man in the Street reporting, going to locations of famous Hollywood ghost stories. And I started off with Peg Entwistle and the Hollywood sign. And I have another one coming up, the house, the Frank Lloyd Wright house. It's known as the Jaws house because it looks like, the Jaws shark in the movie poster. That's where allegedly the Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short, was murdered and dismembered, not to go into a horrible tragedy, but it is part of Hollywood folklore. I'm covering that. But I also hope to find some lighter stories also. Right. Anyway, how are you doing, Whimsy?
I'm doing good. I figured we would do the empath prayer. Hopefully the sound will be improved next week. I don't know what's going on with my sound. I've got aliens over here, you name it.
Yeah, maybe it's just all those entities and spirits wanting to join in,
Like, I'm not even here now.
You're not here?
Why? There you are.
Yes, here I am. Can you
I've
hear me?
got 2 screens open up. Good God.
Okay. But I'm.
Is it Mercury? Is it Mercury retrograde? I'm cracking up so much I can barely hear myself.
I mean, you sound good to me. Rose here just said, just keep going. And Rose said, no talking about Lady in Black at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that. That is an interesting story about the Lady in Black, but we won't go into here. I'll save it for another time or for the video. But you sound good. Okay, somebody said the feedback only happens when you speak. You speak, Whimsy.
Yes, exactly. So I can't speak.
Figure out why. And someone mentioned that Pluto went direct today. I understand I wish I were better versed in this, but I understand that Pluto has been in Capricorn for decades now, and now it's moving out and changing. But anyway, that's affecting a lot of things right now, hence what we're seeing in the world right now. Look what's happening even with our electronics.
Right. Well, let's do the empath prayer, and we're going to have Chuck do most of the talking today because I've got feedback. And Chuck, I'll just do it. Sorry about the feedback, everyone.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen.
Amen.
Well, people want to talk about Israel, what's going on. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's too upsetting, but do you have
Yeah.
any feedback about it?
It was an incredibly upsetting story. We were talking about this earlier in the pre-show, like how much should we go into this? But basically, it's changing constantly. It's extremely upsetting news, and also it would mean getting people up to speed on something that perhaps people just need to be watching the news and reading for themselves right now, more than we could ever do in just the few minutes we have here. But is there anything pertinent that you would like to bring up, Whimsy, about it?
I think that Israel is at war with Iran. That
Yeah,
Iran is, people keep thinking we're at war with the Palestinians, but some of those people taking hostages were not from Gaza.
yeah.
They were hired soldiers, hired by Iran and Qatar, and they flooded Gaza, and it's basically Israel versus Iran. And so for that reason, I think that Israel is going to attack Iran.
Well, what's scary is the Iranian allegiance with Russia and the Ukrainian war, Putin. It's just looking more and more like this could potentially be a third world war in the beginning stages, and certainly with America and other allies getting involved in this. I,
You want to take a look at the cards and
yes.
see about whether or not we're World War II? I'm sorry about this noise. It's driving
Yeah.
me crazy.
Okay. Someone even made Yolanda made the comment that it might even be souls who have left us trying to communicate through both of us right now. That's creating a lot of this.
Well, it's on all my computers. So
Yeah,
that's what makes no sense.
yeah, it doesn't. It's just a strange day. It's strange in general. I know there's a lot going on astrologically. One person here commented that Pluto is still in Capricorn, so I apologize for my error there. I'd have to look at all the facts, but I read something about a huge transition with Pluto, and Pluto is also about bringing out a lot of our hidden secrets, a lot of things that we've been repressing. Our secrets are not so secret anymore.
Right. I was going to say there was a comment here, Steve Myers. No, Saudi Arabia is at war with Iran.
Yeah, I didn't even.
They hate each other, and if anything, they were protesting the Saudi deal.
Yeah, and then of course all of the oil that's there also. Who knows what's really behind all of this?
Oh. They're saying that if I switch to Safari, I might have better luck.
Well, do you want to try it? I guess you are. Here I am by myself again. People talking about the eclipse. Putin. Let's see here. What else do we have here in the comments? Because I know we got some things here we definitely want to have Whimsy do the cards on. Maybe we should wait till she comes back. But I'm concerned about this at these early stages that we might be entering into a third world war. I mean, of course, we hope and pray not. I don't know if any of you out there have your own opinions about this. The news is so fresh. I still feel like I'm getting up to speed on it myself. It happened so quickly Saturday morning, and it just caught us all by surprise, which, of course, was the intention of the attack in the first place. But I don't know that it was well thought out or not, considering how powerful Israel is and how powerful Israel's allies are. Surely you would think that they would have thought of this before the attack, that there were not going to be serious repercussions. Yes, someone said here, I need to do some pendulum yes or no questions. They're so much fun. I don't know. What should I ask as a yes or no at the pendulum? Will China use this as an opportunity to go after Taiwan? Now that is something I definitely would like to put to Whimsy, but I can certainly ask here, will China use this as an opportunity to go after Taiwan? For whatever it is worth, as soon as I said that, we'll go after Taiwan, it didn't go quite to a yes, but it went to, if you're familiar with the pendulum, with the angle, it went to a maybe leaning toward yes. So we're going to have to see where that goes. Whimsy, we just had people said, why don't you do some yes or no questions with the pendulum?
Oh my God.
I was asked, will China use this as an opportunity to go after Taiwan? And with the pendulum, I was getting a maybe leaning toward yes without giving a clear yes. So I don't know if you want to put that to the cards.
Let's take a look. Okay. I still hear the barking. Now I'm on Sapphire. Stress over the war.
Yeah. Meaning?
We're at war with Iran. Iran and Qatar. Iran and Qatar are at war with the West. Iran and Qatar want to kill the Saudis. The Saudis and the Shia have been at war for 1,000 years. They hate each other. The British did an oil deal with Saudi, the British and the Saudi, with Lawrence of Arabia. And that was the beginning of the end. Jealousy, fighting for who's going to sell the oil.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't help but think oil was involved in this.
So the Palestinians are in the middle of it. The Palestinians, the Israelis are not in Gaza. Stop occupying a country that they're not in. They're not there. They haven't been there in years. They left. They're gone. Wiedersehen. Ciao. Most Palestinians in Gaza wanted to open up normalization between Israel and Gaza. Let's start getting some trade. Let's start making some money. Let's start getting some tourism in here. 70% of the people on the Gaza side, 70% of Israeli. What happened was these Iranians came in with Hamas, and now they're being held hostage by Iran. So it's not, it's a mute. A lot of people have no idea what they're talking about. So now we're in this situation where Iran is occupying Gaza.
Well, this is an interesting comment. Putin wants U.S. resources to go to this war and neglect Ukraine. That sounds logical.
I think that they want America in the war, and that would be World War III. We're already in World War III.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the parallels with World War II and how it started. It began with Europe and then it escalated. And, I was talking with you earlier about how, it's been said, why didn't the prime minister act quicker? Surely he was getting surveillance, something telling him this attack was going to happen. And there are theories that Franklin Roosevelt may have known about the Pearl Harbor attack several days before it actually happened, but he knew that was an opportunity to get America involved in the war. It was the perfect excuse. And I'm wondering if there's something along those lines here.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the Second World War. It ended with Berlin being divided, the East and the West, and people are worried that Gaza is going to start attracting foreign fighters. Some of those fighters that took hostages are not from Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
They're from the Sudan. They've been hired. They're hired mercenaries that have been brought into to do this by Iran. And Hezbollah is also an Iranian army. So we're at war with Iran.
Yeah. And
it's not because of the Palestinians. They don't care about the Palestinians. It's about killing Jews. They want to kill the Israelis and destroy the Israelis.
Yeah.
They were peacekeeper. They were peace-loving hippies trying to create a peaceful community of Arabs and Jews, and it was a peace concert. And they're sitting there smoking marijuana, singing "Love, Love, Love," and people still came and chopped their heads off. Yeah. So there are people that want to blame Jews for everything. We're peaceniks at a peaceful concert, listening to music. No, for that you should die. So
Yeah.
It's Iran. Iran did this. And Israel, I think it's not going to end in Gaza. I think that we will reoccupy Gaza. And I think we will also I think we're going to hit Iran.
Was it, I'm not an authority on the Bible by any means, but wasn't it in the Bible that the final big war, the war to end all wars, allegedly would originate in this region of the world, in the Middle East, around
I don't
Israel?
know. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe
I don't
someone could comment on that. I hope I'm not saying an ignorant statement, but I
I
recall
think that's more a Christian prophecy
maybe
because
that.
the
Yeah,
Jewish prophecies, we don't, they changed the Bible. That they ended with, I think, Malachi or something like that.
yeah. I can't remember
I
where.
think we end with Second Corinthians. They switched it around. But anyway, no, there's not supposed to be a big fiery ending or anything like that. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
us working together to get closer to God through positive acts. That's how it ends.
yeah, yeah. You're right. That does sound like a fanatical religious prophecy or something. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, no, we believe in the good things of life.
Well, I
But
want to believe that too, very much so.
yeah, but I think that's a really great question because I think Netanyahu needs to go. If you look at 50 years ago when we were attacked, well, I'm hearing a lot of people who simply don't know their history. Israel was invaded by Egypt, not the other way around. Um, that was the Yom Kippur War. It's a security breach.
Yeah,
And because of that security breach, Golda Meir had to step down as prime minister. It cost her between that and the massacre that happened when people were killed during the Olympics. Those events happened when she was the prime minister and people
yeah,
blamed her. And yet here we have the same thing, a lapse in security, but people are saying, this is why we need Netanyahu. That makes no sense to me. Netanyahu, who's supposed to be the person who knows everything, who's
yeah,
this big security person, he's the reason we're in this situation. If
yeah,
Golda Meir had to step down because of a security leak, why should Netanyahu? It's his fault.
yeah. Seems like they were saying similar things about George W. Bush when 9/11 happened.
Yeah, why did he have popularity of 70,
Oh
80%?
yeah,
Well,
he
it's
had a
his fault.
major popularity surge after 9/11. It was almost like some were even accusing him of creating it as a PR stunt. I mean, I'm not saying that. That's an outrageous thing to say, but I just can't help but think of the parallels there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
anyway, sorry
Uh,
about the sound. We are, something's going on with the sound on my end. We can't fix
yeah,
it.
we're just so sorry, folks. We're working on it here. It's just ironic. Usually it's me with the sound problems, but it's just something beyond our control right now. But here's a question. How is 45, no, yeah, 45 second week of the trial going in New York City?
Oh, I haven't tried Restream on this. We could try this one. This was something we didn't try.
Okay, let's give it a try. Yeah.
We could try. Everyone's watching me play with the various.
Well, people are seeing us in our element. They're seeing us with our hair down, being
Yeah, it's
messy and being
okay.
very human right now. And but thank you for bearing with us. Yeah, we got all these topics here, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get to them. What should we do? Um, oh yes, someone did point that out about my comment. It was evangelicals that came up with the rapture. And that story about the cradle is civilization, that part of the world being the be all end all war. Uh, yeah, anyway, people are saying to us, move beyond the distraction, the noise, that this subject is more important. This is what we should be talking about. So I guess maybe, should we just put technicality aside and just keep going?
Well, I'm trying to get some. Here's another stream.
Okay, what's happening there? I like your background, all your herbs.
Allow.
Oh, Oh, Pluto. Pluto.
All right, how's that?
Well, I'm hearing echoing, but it's up to the viewers. How do the viewers feel about
Well,
it?
you shouldn't be hearing echoing now because I just got rid of it.
Yeah. Though I do see your forehead. Now I see your face. Though I did had a comment here. That was worse. No echo. And then we did
Okay,
LOL though. No,
the
no, no.
sound
I
should be
said, yay, no.
fantastic now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was pointed out by Roseanne that it could be Nostradamus who said, and that makes sense. It could be Nostradamus where I read that or heard that about that region of the world being where the big war was going to be. But if I remember correctly, Nostradamus said there was going to be this war, but then he said there was going to be a great period of peace lasting many, many, many years, if not even centuries. Like this was going to be a war that was going to actually take care of a lot of things. Maybe someone can chime in and elaborate on that better than I can.
Don't you think, though, that people create their own realities? That if people are negative and they think that, oh, this big horrible war is going to come, and whoops,
Uh,
oops,
Hello? Okay. Here's the
I'm trying to fix things here.
okay.
There
Okay,
we
here's
go.
the comment. The
Is
rapture.
that better?
Well, in the moment, you sound good. I don't hear any echoing, but it was just mentioned that the rapture is when all Christians will be taken to heaven in one event, like an abduction. Um, so that's one of the beliefs there.
Like an
Oh yeah,
abduction.
oh yeah, and here's the comment.
What if I don't want to go? What if I've got what if you're like Jewish and you're thinking, I've got better things to do with my time than be part of a rapture?
I'm thinking of that Monty Python movie. Remember where the housewife served a tainted tuna casserole to her guests and gave everybody botulism, and Mr. Death, in the black hood and the sieve showed up to take everybody away.
The
And
salmon pate.
yes,
Yeah.
and the hostess goes, "Oh dear, I'm so embarrassed." It's almost like that. But yes,
I didn't eat the salmon pate.
yes. But anyway, so we have some comments here. Nostradamus said a man with a blue turban would win, and yes, what I had said about many years of peace, 1,000 years of peace follows. I thought I remembered that from a Nostradamus documentary. Something about the man.
Oh, that's where the 1,000 piece
Yeah,
thing comes
but
from. It
something
comes from Nostradamus.
I can say about
Interesting.
Nostradamus. I remember when I was a kid, which was a long time ago, I watched a documentary about Nostradamus. And this was long before 911 ever happened. But they said that a man wearing a turban was going to send missiles to the heart of Manhattan and cause a devastating cataclysmic explosion. I never forgot that, and sure enough, it happened because they said it would happen around the beginning of the next century, this century here. But anyway, someone's saying here this is going to be caused by a man in a blue turban. So I don't know specifically who that could be. Maybe you would, or someone could chime in with some
Well,
ideas.
maybe people think it's going to be Khomeini because Khomeini is the one that paid for Hamas and Hezbollah to bomb us.
Maybe.
So that could be that people are thinking that but don't you think we have to be a little bit more optimistic? I mean,
Well, I want to live my life more optimistically. That's the way I like to think. That's the way I like to be. Someone asked me, do I know Leslie Kane? No, I don't. Sorry. But yes, people are concurring about the Twin Towers. Oh, yes, somebody said the blue maybe represents Israel. What do you think of that, Whimsy?
no, because mosques traditionally are painted blue on top, and that's kind of a Turkish Iranian design from the Ottoman Empire it looked like the sky so that the evil eye will pass the mosque and not see the mosque.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing there? How's that progressing?
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Good question. I was thinking about, let's see if I can find this thing.
Uh, I'm scrolling through some comments here in the meantime. Let's see. This is like going back on a trip in time here to see all the comments about the echoes and so forth. But let's see if there's anything that I missed earlier. Uh, Someone said I should talk about my art while Whimsy figures out what's going on. And let's see, keep it moving. No, it's perfect now.
No idea what I'm doing here.
I'm
I
seeing
wanted to,
what?
I'm trying to learn how to use, oh my God, Baltic mirror.
Yeah.
I don't like, oh well.
What's going on? I'm just looking here.
I'm trying to learn Google. I mean, like, I prefer Google more than I do the other one because you can't
Now,
really see as much.
I was wondering what people are seeing right now. I saw El Coyote pop up.
Well, we're at the El Coyote. We're having lunch at the El Coyote.
That was the very first restaurant I ever went to when I moved to Los Angeles.
I think that's the first. I think that's one of the first restaurants everybody's been to.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool place. And when I found out all the movie stars that went there, I found out Elizabeth Taylor had her own table there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And have you tried the $2 margaritas?
I don't think they're $2 anymore, but I definitely have had their margaritas.
Oh, I think they went through a period where they were $3, and then I think they went through a period where they were $5. And I just know that every time I'm there, people are very generous drinking their margaritas.
I think you need to get a bank loan to go there now. I went there. It was February of this year. It's the first time I'd been to El Coyote in ages, and I was shocked when I saw the prices on the menu. It definitely is not the El Coyote I used to know, not to impugn a wonderful restaurant, as things do need to go up. But I was there because it was James Dean's birthday. And, I have my artwork in his hometown of Fairmount. And there are a lot of James Dean fans here who go to Fairmount, Indiana, like I did. And so we thought it'd be fun to just have a little birthday party for Jimmy Dean at El Coyote. We had a cake, candles. I brought some of my artwork there, and we just told stories about him. And I had just been in Fairmount a few months before that. I was at the farm where he grew up. I don't know if I've told the story or not, but I was at the farm where he grew up, and I spent time with his cousin Marcus Winslow, who was raised alongside him in the house. They were raised together as brothers. So Jimmy Dean was basically his big brother. And that was one of the most fascinating afternoons of my life, hearing firsthand personal family stories. And sometime I'll have to make a video about that, or maybe even do a Jimmy Dean piece of artwork and tell some of it here in the future. But let's see, some comments are coming in. Someone said the blue turban seems to point toward Russia. I don't know how you feel about that with Putin. Let's see. I'm trying to look at what else we have here. Oh, will Bankman be found guilty? Trial begins Monday. Okay, thank you for your compliment about my James Dean artwork. Thank you, I appreciate that. What else here?
Do you think Bankman's going to be found guilty?
I don't know. It's a good question. Shall we ask it?
Yeah. We had a really great show planned for everybody.
We did. It's going to be so good today. Maybe we can resume it next week. I don't know, but I'm getting something toward a yes there. What are you getting?
Yeah, guilty, because you can see here they feel like they have plenty of evidence. There's the courts. He's grieving. So I would say, yeah, no bueno for him. No bueno for him.
Yeah, that was a pretty clear yes for me. Let's see. Any Questions, folks. What would you like us to blitz on here?
Well, I think I have something that I think people would like to blitz on, and that has
Okay.
to do with what's currently going on with whoops, not with this woman playing, but Rep.
Jordan.
George Santos faces 10 new federal charges, including allegations of stealing donors' identities, running up federal credit cards. Anybody want to talk about this?
Yeah.
What do you
Uh,
think, Chuck?
what do I think? That man has told so many lies. I mean, how do you even start to differentiate what's true, what's not true? I'm just glad to see some justice here. I mean, uh, it's like what we said about Trump. It's like he's just been getting away with all of these atrocities all this time, and now, shall we say, the chickens are coming to roost?
Mm,
Yeah.
let's
Let's see, what is
see.
it? 23 counts. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah. In fact, didn't we say earlier that we think he's going to be expelled by December? Did that come?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. What do you have?
Okay. I think it will be expelled by December. That's a pretty clear yes. That's what I'm getting. Yeah. He's just in his own world, and as it's pointed out, he lives in his own special dimensions.
Do you feel like you're actually surprised it took this long?
I am surprised it took this long, but then I'm also surprised it took this long for Trump. Yeah, that's why
Mm-hmm.
it's good to see justice finally taking place.
Mm-hmm. And you know about what's going on here, right? Like, I won't try and subject people to the sound, but I did want to at least show people. If I try to play it, it's probably gonna go crazy because I have two computers on at the same time. But the other bit of news that I thought people might be interested in has to do with the fact that Jim Jordan and Scalise are in private meetings
Yeah.
over with the Republican Party. Scalise is, of course, the person that people feel is really going to bring the GOP together. What's your feeling about that?
Well, I don't know. The interesting thing about Scalise, both of these men have their baggage. He made a comment about the Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke, saying he
Hmm.
would actually compared himself to him, and I used the word baggage. He said, "I'm like him without the baggage." I think that's certainly going to haunt him. Jordan is closely associated with trying to overturn the 2020 election, um, but then I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. But those are some things that they're bringing to the table. I don't know if either one is really that desirable, but then was McCarthy that desirable either? In the meantime, Congress is paralyzed. And how many days is it before we're going to have another shutdown? Because didn't they just extend it for only 45 days before they have to pass another bill?
Well, that's the whole point that people want to talk about also is I think what you had said is true, that they're going to do what they can to avoid a shutdown, but at the same time, uh, I think Scalise. I mean, let's go ahead and check, but I think I'm leaning towards Scalise. I can't imagine they would okay Jim Jordan.
Yeah. Was Scalise the next speaker of? You know, um, I'm getting something leaning in the direction of yes, but I'm thinking back. Didn't you say that a woman? Didn't you say like a couple of weeks ago you felt it was going to be a woman who was going to be the next Speaker of the House?
You know, it's strange because Scalise and a woman both hold the seventh position, which is the immediate environment of the Speaker's house, because you have Scalise and then the clarification is this woman. So
Yeah.
does that mean that he has strong support from who's the woman? What's her name? Stefanik. Stefanik
Uh,
in the house.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank there.
But Stefanik might be a strong supporter of Scalise if she's coming out behind it. Also, you have financial support behind Scalise.
Yeah,
You can see good money with his cards.
yeah,
Also, they fear the division. Look, this is something that's important for us to realize also, which is that they feared the division more than they do having Scalise in power.
yeah. I'm just looking at the comments here. Uh, let's see. Yeah, some people were asking about what I mentioned about connections to the Klan. I didn't say he was necessarily connected to the Klan, but he compared himself to David Duke, saying, "I'm like him, but without the baggage." Now, I mean, there still could be scandal connected to that. Here's a question from Pam: Did 80% of the Republican representatives pledge to Trump? I guess pledge their allegiance to Trump.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't comment.
yeah, okay. Um, let's see.
Well, here's something that actually is switching things up a little
Yeah,
bit, Chuck.
more fun here
Um,
later.
yeah, this is something that I thought would be near and dear to your heart, and that is the fact that movie theaters are actually shutting down all over the country.
They have been. Yeah,
And you have New York Times Magazine talking about this idea, will they survive? How do we get people to go to the movies? I like going to the movies, but
yeah.
there is also this feeling of I want to be comfortable at home and not bother going out.
Well, that's been the prevalent thinking. And truthfully, and I'm a huge movie lover, but ever since the pandemic, I got into the habit of watching movies at home. Streaming makes it incredibly easy. I'm very lucky. I have a big flat screen TV, a good sound system, and frankly, it's almost as good as being in a movie theater. But that article you just put up, I read that today. That was from the New York Times, and I thought they made a very good argument in support of why people still do go to the movie theaters. And they pointed out all the things that have happened over the decades, like the advent of television, video games, home video, cable, all these reasons for people to stay home, but yet they keep returning to the movie theaters. And the author was saying the movie theater is like, I guess this is more my own word, and I say sacred space, but you think about it, it's a place to go where you're in the quiet, you're in the dark, you're focused on that big movie screen and nothing else. And there's something very intimate about that I don't think you get at home. And it was also pointed out, when they were saying that movies were dead, we had two huge blockbusters. One of those you and I went to see. Barbie and Oppenheimer came out at the same time. The Indiana Jones movie came out, the Mission Impossible movie, all of them doing very, very well. I mean, Barbie is actually the most successful movie in Warner Brothers' 100-year history. So we're seeing evidence. If you have the content and the material, people will go. People will go to the movie theaters. So I'm not so sure we're ready to write them off yet.
Well, that was also the argument, was that the people that are the movies that are making it, the movies that can survive, seem to have to be the most spectacular, the most incredible, and it might not be just, what is this saying about independent film, for example?
Well, I can't remember what it said about independent film, but I do know independent films do tend to lend themselves better to streaming, watching at home, and I tend to agree with that. It's the big blockbuster films, the big special effects extravaganzas, the events. That's probably what people want to go out for, pay money for, actually sit in a theater, uh, buy those ridiculously expensive concessions like that $10 bucket of popcorn and the $7 chocolate bar, the things that we could have for home for a fraction of that. But I tend to want to watch more intimate films at home. um, you
I
know
think, yeah.
oh, I didn't want to
One of
interrupt
Well, one of the things I've noticed about people today, Americans, is that we really enjoy being comfortable. We used to want to dress up and spend hours. Maybe it's something that you do when you're younger, and maybe there are people who still like to dress up. I know people, we've talked about it in the group, but there is something really nice about being at home like Bridget Jones with your
Yeah.
potato chips and
Yes.
your snacks, and you don't have to worry about somebody judging the way you eat or the
Yeah.
way you live your life.
Yeah. It definitely takes a commitment to go to a movie theater. I think it's perfect if you want to go out on a date, something like that. You need somewhere to go and something that you can afford. And I see you're going on to the next story here.
Well, we can't end the show without some weird, weird news.
And this is
And well, it's weird science. We always go with the weird science. What's your opinion about it? I mean,
um
about this poor guy has been accidentally mummified in
mhm,
Pennsylvania.
I saw that. Well, my first reaction to that was give the man his dignity, shut the lid, and bury him. Don't put him on display like that. Um, I mean, I wouldn't want to be displayed that way, would you?
Well, evidently, his name is Stoneman Willie.
Yeah. Stone.
Uh, hmm?
Did they name him after his death, or did he have that name during his lifetime?
Well, evidently, he was a jailed thief that died in a Pennsylvania prison in 1895, and he was accidentally mummified by undertakers.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that his skin is like leather now. And there's some people who want to study his body just to observe the effects of mummification, how it progresses with time, how it holds up. But we're still talking about a man here who deserves his dignity. That shouldn't, if he had, say, left it in his will, like people leave their bodies to science, he'd given his blessing, that would be another story. But I doubt that he did that.
Well, evidently, the body was acquired by a circus, like a freak show.
Oh, that's sad.
And then evidently they acquired the body for this at this particular company, and then they
Yeah.
decided that it was time to bury him, and so they actually did have a formal funeral for him.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm glad they did that much for him. I mean, but are they going to bury him or are they going to study him? I wasn't clear about that.
no, he was buried. He was given a
Okay, good.
formal burial,
I'm glad to hear.
and
Yeah.
um, well, I hope you had fun today. Did you have fun with all the craziness
Oh
going
my God.
on?
I'm probably going to have to watch this show later, and probably I'm going to cringe when I see the moments of myself by myself ad-libbing. But thank you, everybody, for putting up with us today. And, as I told you, Whimsy, I talk to people on the phone, and there's a lot of love out there and a lot of goodwill. And each week I get to know more and more people individually because a lot of your people here are people who have worked with you, so they're on your call list. And it's a real
Mm,
treat to get to know you individually. And I feel the love. I feel it here too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we were going to interview Sandra Rogers. She was here
Yes.
earlier, and it looks like for whatever reason I don't see her. If we accidentally knocked her out of the
Oh, I hope
stream,
she
or
comes back.
but I don't see Sandra for whatever
Oh,
reason.
Sandra,
So,
please come back. Sandra wrote the wonderful book Inviting the Queen. And if you saw a few weeks ago, we were having internet problems and Sandra couldn't get on. So Whimsy and I ended up talking about the book, and we promised Sandra we would bring her back on and give her her proper time. And now what's happening?
well, she might come back on. Chuck, can you show everybody the book that we're talking about today?
Yes, Inviting the Queen. And
Inviting the Queen.
yeah, and you and I both love this book a lot. Um, Debbie just said send her a new link. Do you think that would help? Send Sandra a new link?
Well, I sent her an email with the link, so that would be kind of
But maybe
strange.
send
It
her
would be
another
the
link,
same
see if that
exact
helps.
link
Way.
all
Yeah,
over again.
let's give her a chance. But the book is fabulous. We both loved it. You know, it's written for women specifically, but she also has in the postscript on the back for the men who love women. But I saw things in here that would apply to a man as well, because it's just about finding um, your own power, you know, connecting with your history. I love how she uses archetypes, archetypes from Greek mythology. Uh, she goes into history, how all of this has shaped the psyche of women today, the stages that a woman goes through. I don't know how much we should be talking now.
Well, when
Sandra,
she talks about inviting the queen, isn't she talking about the process that happens between a woman's years of, when a woman is her traditionally fertile years. This is if a woman has been fertile.
maiden, the mother, and then, you know, traditionally, then she goes to crone, where Sandra has another stage in between the crone and the mother, and that's the queen, where all of these great life experiences come together. And is that Sandra?
Larry, hi Larry.
Right.
Larry, where's Sandra?
Okay, I'm seeing here she just logged back in.
Who logged back up? He logged back out. That was
Oh,
Larry.
that was her husband, Larry. Um, we talked with Sandra earlier in the pre-show. She's a great lady. I like her a lot.
Yeah,
There
there she
you
is.
are. Hi, Sandra. Welcome. We are so happy to have you here. Get,
You're
uh,
muted. You're
yeah,
muted.
you're muted. I can't hear you.
There's something going on today, but we just have, we have each other, so we're having fun.
Yeah,
How about now?
we can hear
Perfect.
you just great.
Good. Okay, I'm
Pluto is
on.
doing something or whatever, you know.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, someone just said no
Okay.
sound. No, obviously we have sound. Um, well, Sandra, Whimsy and I both loved your book. You know, if you saw the show where we couldn't get you on, you heard us talking about the book and going back and forth. And I kept hoping we were doing you justice, because I knew you were watching. You just couldn't participate. So we were just chiming in with our own thoughts. But now's your chance. This is your chance to shine and speak for yourself. And I guess the first question to put to you is, who is the queen? How would you describe the queen?
Well, Chuck, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It might take me all day to quite finish it. But the short version is the queen is the archetype that a woman at midlife, say menopause and on, till about 60, 70, something like that,
Uh-huh.
is the archetype that women can invite, hence the title, and raise themselves to a different elevation in their lives, knowing, keeping their power in the world. There's a great deal of potential, and they can look for things where they can be helpful to the greater world, their community, and
Yeah.
their families. And so that's really kind of in a nutshell what it's about.
Yeah. I just saw it as a great win-win, you know, for everybody, for men, for women. It's, you know, I loved your book because I saw things that I could apply to myself, even though your book is very specific toward women, the stages of a woman's life, you know, the maiden, the mother, the queen, the crone, and, you know, that you use Greek mythology, archetypes, you go into the history of how men have treated women and how women have lost their rights. Like when you talked about how goddesses used to be revered and then they got knocked down several pegs and the gods took over. But one of the things I'd like to know, I mean, I know how you did this because I read your book, but I think the viewers would love this. How did you connect with her? How did you connect with the queen?
Yes.
Okay, that's a
How
great
do we get
question.
closer to the goddess?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's another question. But how did I connect with her?
How did
It
you?
was I wrote my master's thesis on the crone. So I was always kind of interested in doing that work. And when I was out of school and practicing as a therapist, I tried to start some groups for crones. Well, most women hate that word, I found out.
Yeah.
Don't use it. And so I just kind of gave up after a while. And then about 20 years later, it occurred to me out of the blue that there are not just three stages, there are four. And at least for now, because women live so much longer and we're better educated, healthier,
Yeah.
more able to do things. And so that third stage after the mother, I call the queen. And then after that, in later life, one can become a crone. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I
And
I just love the way you described it, you know, because the crone does take on negative connotations. And I think you even said crone actually means crown, like the upper
yeah,
chakra, you know, the
right?
highest of chakras. And it used to be that the crone was the most respected, you know, the
Used to be.
matriarch, the person you came to for great wisdom, for herbal medicines, remedies, healing, nurturing. Yes, Whimsy. That's Whimsy, the queen. You're the queen, not the crown. But I love that in your.
Absolutely.
I just find it so enlightening, and I had mentioned this to you earlier, and I won't go into a whole of it here, but I do hope you write a version specifically for men someday. You know, because men have their own stages of life. Yes, the history is not so good as far as the way men have treated women, but nonetheless, as men, we do carry that in our DNA, just as women carry it also. So I'd love to see you address that, come up with archetypes specific to men. You know, we talked about this, and I know
We
that's a
did.
complicated thing, but I think it would be just fascinating, and you would help men to find their own vulnerability, their own sensitivity, their own empowerment, and in turn be better for women. And women being better for men, we just have a better human race in general. Um, but you know, you said that your book is about power. Now, what more can you say about this? About power,
Well,
finding power.
to really be blunt, power is everything. It's
Uh-huh.
the misuse of power that's so bad, but it is everything. And if women have no power, as they have not had in the past, they can't do anything. And we now have the power by law for the most part. There are a few things that got taken away recently,
Hmm.
but we still have our power. We have our vote, and we are considered not second-class citizens, but first-class citizens.
Yeah.
So we can do everything we want to do. You know, if we have good health and stamina, we can do it,
Oh, yeah.
and we've proven it over and over.
As you pointed
So
out, you know, women
yeah.
are living much, well, women and men both are living much, much longer. There was a time where women would die before they even reached menopause.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
why the crown made perfect sense a while ago. It was fine. You died
Yeah.
at maybe 50. But when you don't die until 85, you've got like a 30-year period, which is way too long to be in an undifferentiated
Yeah.
level. So I really thought it needed to be broken in two and talked about that way. And that's where the queen came in.
Fabulous. What do you
When
feel?
I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry, when you say a 30-year period, you mean from the time that you go from the how long does the period that you consider the queen, how long does it last?
I would say from midlife or from menopause. It could be retirement, but whatever event in a woman's life says to her, "I'm done with this part," and it may be that she's done with mothering. She's finished having children. She's menopausal, and then it would go until I don't know. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I would say somewhere around 65 or 70.
Yeah.
So it's a good 10 to 15 years there instead of 30. And then later life, 75 and beyond, we could call the crone.
Mm.
And I may write about that too someday.
And what
Yeah.
is the big difference between the queen and the crone, since they both, other than the fact that the crone is a little bit older?
There's not a huge difference. I think that you can carry the qualities of the queen archetype with you the rest of your life. I don't think they go away at a certain age.
Yeah.
So that's really my take on that. Did I answer that, Whimsy? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely remember when I got to be too old to do things I did when I was younger. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Who wants to go
Yeah.
clubbing when you're 60?
Yeah.
Some people do, but it's come on, man. I
Kind of
just
like
like,
been there,
no.
done that. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we did so much of that in our 20s, and we needed to do it in our 20s to
Yeah.
socialize. And I was out hanging out with my friends every damn night. But
Yeah.
at 60, I don't want to be that person anymore.
No, I'm on
Yeah,
the
we
same as you. I'm a homebody now. I just like being home with my cat, reading, writing, doing my art. And so, but I'm sure you'd agree with me. It's not like we're old fuddy-duddies. We can't go out clubbing or dancing or something. We just don't want to. We don't have a
don't
need.
want to.
You're right.
Yeah.
Did you
It's
want to
I
read? I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
oh no, I was just going to say that. Oh wait a minute, I just lost the thought. So Whimsy, please go ahead.
Well,
Well, you and I, Sandra, are echoing, but at the same time, I would love to hear part of it. I don't know if you want to read it, even though we do have a bit of feedback today, or if you wanted Chuck to read it for you, or
yeah.
would you like to
I'd
be
love,
the one to read it, Sandra?
I'll try and read it, and if it's
I'd love
bad,
to.
tell me to stop, and I'll turn it over to Chuck.
All
But I'm
right.
looking at the epilogue, which is page 120, Chuck, so you'll know where I am.
Okay.
So now I have to get some light
Just in
into it.
case here. Okay.
Okay. Um, okay, this is my process during the writing of this book, and it's the epilogue of the book. Early in my adult life, I made the decision not to have children, being involved with and later married to a man who made it clear early in our relationship that he did not tend to be a father. I also felt that my primary job in this life was to mother myself and develop the best of who I am. I was not aware that for many years, the experience of becoming a mother to my own children would have honed and shaped me in a way that would rival any self-mothering. So I remained and continue to be childless by choice. Um, my life unfolded in a way I couldn't foresee. When my late husband, when in my 60s, my late husband died, and a longtime friend whose wife had also died quite recently, we began to feel some attraction to each other, and we did get together. We were together for 3 years and then married, and still are. Let's see. He acknowledged that he had feelings for me as well. In a short time, we had become a couple and were married 3 years later. With this new marriage came his 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren. I have known my husband's children for as long as I have known my husband, and I'm a godmother to the youngest. There was no need for me to step into a traditional mother role, but over the years, I have become some version of a stepmother, not the evil kind, I hope. And I trust as well. I'm sorry, the light in here is so bad. I trust as well as a step grandmother. And it goes on. I don't know if you want me to continue or how's the sound.
So you're saying that that whole process,
Yeah,
like the epilogue, I mean, you are describing a kind of period where it seems like women have to learn to share our space. Like the maiden is all for herself. She's out having fun. And then we start to have to go through this social period where we have to maybe have children, or they come into our lives in different ways as teachers, as, in your case, through marriage. And then we go through that queen phase, which is, it's interesting. I've been watching a lot of Jewish Hasidic stories, and there's this very famous Rebbitzin. Her husband died, rabbi from Bnei Brach, and you could see all these students of the rabbi were singing to her, and she had her hair cut, like this, and she was like 90 years old. and she was, with her finger, she was conducting them. And it was very obvious that she was the queen. She was the queen. The rabbi was gone, but the Rebbitzin, his wife, was still, and they were all serenading her with these Hebrew songs, and she was. And it made me think about today's interview, like how that culture finds a way to lift up the spiritual concept of the queen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So is the queen the reward we get at the end of a good life? Like we can look back, like the Rebbitzin in that particular, she was looking back at what the legacy of her and her husband, for example.
I do believe, I'm sorry, Whimsy, just quickly say the last couple of words. I got lost there.
I mean, it seems to me like the reward of being a queen is that you look back on everything you worked so hard to accomplish. And the queen stage is about, now you get to take a moment in your spirituality to really to honor what you've achieved in your life.
Yes, very much so. And one of the things a much older woman can do is she has the history of the tribe, of the community, of her family, whatever the group is, and she keeps that, and that's part of her job as an elder. Sometimes it's the younger version, the queen, but most often it's an older woman, and it's an important part of our culture, and it's been lost now. Because aging is still not considered a good thing to do. You shouldn't do it.
But you know,
no matter that we can't.
Those of us who are aging and reaching this point, I think we're quickly changing our mind about that.
Yes.
Whimsy and I are similar age, and I think we both would agree that this is actually one of the greatest times of our lives. You know, I feel things are just beginning. I don't feel like things are over by any means. I'm excited about his life as much as I was 21 when I was 21 years old. But I just love hearing you talk about the queen. You know, one of my questions, I realize you've covered some of this already, but what are some of the queen's qualities? I realize you've already stated some, but are there more you'd like to say about the qualities of the queen?
Well, you know, Chuck, one of the things I did in writing was think about how do I talk about the qualities of the queen without writing a book that's full of adjectives and nothing else. So I had to find a device to show the queen in her various ways, and I chose the 7 chakras as that. I go through the chakras related to the queen and show how she's in the first chakra, who she's like in the second, the third, and the fourth. So you can get all of those qualities. I think it helps very much. I mean, just saying she's this, she's that doesn't take us anywhere. The other thing I did that I wanted to bring in was there are a lot of anecdotes in the book, new stories about women who have done this in this way. So it gives you more down-to-earth ideas about how you can. And anecdotes, you know, as we all know, stories get more attention than just facts.
Well, I just love that. I was thrilled because by coincidence, I was looking for a book about the chakras, better understanding them and so forth. I've been wanting to pursue that. And your book came in the mail as one of our book club selections. I was like, universe in action. But I love that.
Thank you.
Archetypes, Greek archetypes, mythology. Yes, I'm sorry, Whimsy.
I was just going to say thank you so much, Sandra. I know we all had a really great time today. We're so sorry about all of the glitches. But hopefully people were able to stay with us. I want you guys to just stay where you're at while I close the stream. Thank you so much to Sandra Rogers. Thank you so much to Chuck Dranfield for being here today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close?
I wanted to mention that Sandra is developing her own YouTube channel and to watch for it in November. I thought you might like to say something about that. You and I both have the wonderful Debbie Brady helping us each with our YouTube channels right now. And just wanted to give you a plug there.
Thank you for that. Yes, that's exactly right what you just said. I never thought I'd get my own YouTube channel and do something Debbie's very encouraging, so I'm going
having
to
a lot
follow.
of fun. I bet you are too.
Debbie
I
is
am.
very, very active. Debbie has also designed our merch. If you want to check out all of the great merch for this channel, she also designed this channel, and she's also running our fan pages. So obviously, Debbie Brady is a very, very busy lady. So thank you to her, and thank you to all of you for being patient with us while we worked out all the glitches with the sound and everything else that's going on. Be kind to all, so that all can be kind to you too. We will see you all next time. I'll see my class tomorrow at 6 p.m. You all had fun? Was it okay?
A lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All
Glitches and
right.
all. It's been a fun show.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you,
Thank you
Whimsy
so
Bye,
and
much.
John.
everyone.
Whimsy.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.